Is it so cold that ice is exploding from the ground? We're going to show you an incredible picture this morning, but let's begin with the big picture. Meteorologist Jennifer Delgado, because this cold air is going all the way down south, and I mean all the way.
Yeah, I mean, we have this big ridge of high pressure, the Arctic front. You can see just sandwiching all that cold air in place. And yes, good morning to you. If you're walking out the door, you're not going to have trouble waking up once you touch some of that cold air and you start to feel it. Showing you what's happening on the ground, you can see some snow moving through, as well as some rain through Florida. Now let's take you back over to the wall. We talk about the extreme cold in place. In fact, it is going to be so cold, we're going to be looking at some of these low temperatures, records being smashed. These numbers are going to go all the way down to the bottom. It's going to be incredibly cold out there. Then the second part of the story, we're looking at some snow. Here comes our Arctic front. With this low, we have some more snow. We're talking about 1 to 3 inches. Nothing that's incredible, but certainly pesky, and you're really going to hate this cold air in place. And you're not going to like my next story, because we are potentially staring down another storm at the same time. Low pressure pumping in that moisture. You know what's happening from the north. Cold air is in place. It looks like the storm could be bringing some significant snowfall and potentially some more snow and ice out there. And that's the tricky part of the forecast. Luckily, we have Tom Nizzle, and he's been going nonstop all month long. He's going to talk more about that storm that could be developing Friday, as well as
that cold air breaking the barrier that's normally there in South Florida and taking it all the way south.
Yeah, all the way south. You know what? And maybe this is going to be good for the country music writers out there. They have something to write about. We remember how cold it was. Yeah, bitterly cold across parts of the South. No, I can't sing. That's why I am a meteorologist. As we show you who is colder. We want to break this down. Atlanta, you think it's cold outside. In fact, it is. But are you colder than Anchorage, Alaska? In fact, you are. For Thursday a.m., we're expecting a low of 27 degrees in Anchorage. And then for Atlanta, we're going to be in the teens. As we show you some of these wind chill advisories out there, you can see all the way from the north down towards the South Florida. We're talking to you the same for the Carolinas. These are going to go really through tomorrow in some of these areas, because it's just going to be so bitterly cold out there and dangerous, including parts of Florida, where in fact we also have hard freeze warnings in place as well. Highs today are going to be running 20 degrees below average, almost 30, but it gets worse tomorrow. You follow that blue air and you're going to be feeling blue, because it's going to be to the south. Pensacola, you're going to be running 16 degrees below average, nearly 40 for Nashville, 30 for Atlanta. And we look at the Friday lows, and these temperatures could potentially be shattered for Jacksonville, Tampa. You know, when we're talking to you, Florida, it's bad out there if you're in the cold.
And particularly when you see all these advisories that are popping up.
Going to get better there.
I respect you so much, sir, who was bundled up walking on that beach right
Taking
there.
His dog out for a walk.
It's like, I'm still going to walk the beach. All right, we'll talk a little bit about D.C. We've got some cold air. These numbers are incredible. These stats are big time.
Yeah, we're looking at potentially and very likely going to shatter some records in a big way. Last time they were below zero, that was back in 1994. Friday morning, we're forecasting -2 degrees. You think that's bad? Well, some parts are going to be looking at like -9, -11. So
the problem
it's
is that we're kind of getting used to this, and we're thinking, oh, this is winter. But the truth is that even D.C., only 7 times since records were kept in February have you been below zero. So jump into these numbers. 16 in Buffalo right now.
Yeah, 23 degrees in Boston, 2 in Albany, and then look at this, Saranac Lake, -4 degrees. You're fitting in there, no worries. Your muscles are blocking it.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't covering up Pittsburgh.
Good. We look at this, wind chill warning in effect and wind chill advisory. Sam, you know, these aren't just for today. We're going to see these through tomorrow.
Yeah, and they're going to last. And look at the wind direction. Look along the coast, how it's just howling right there. Look at all those streaks, because that'll show you every time the wind direction. Then look at this little hook that's going on right around here. Saranac Lake is about 4 below right now. Albany is about 2.
And we go throughout the day. The temperatures aren't going to warm up much. We're looking at 4 o'clock, still in the 20s as well as the teens. We got to get used to this, I guess.
Hey, Chris Warren, do not think about the freezing mark, sir, because you're not getting there today. Live in Boston, you've had 7, and Chris, 7 named storms that Boston. Wait, are you? Where are you? You're behind a snow mound. You're in front of snow.
What is it? You're just surrounded.
I was trying to hide, but you caught me.
Oh, easy to hide when you have that much snow. You did. And you know what? Who's got the most game with the basketball? Vivian Brown.
Oh, really?
Vivian Brown was like,
has Vivian got game?
She's got mad game.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about that picture. Marysville, Tennessee, about 15 miles south of, wait a minute, was that Knoxville?
It was.
Yeah, you may be in ice on your net for a while.
It's going to be a while before you're going to get those balls through the net.
Right, exactly. Only reaching 25 today. Tomorrow, only a high of 15.
And yes, you say high of only 15 degrees. It gets worse because then we're going to add in the wind, Sam, and we're talking wind chill advisories going all the way through tomorrow. It's going to feel like -5 at times, even worse.
Yeah, these wind chill advisories are a big deal. And while, you know, I know we've been through several rounds of cold air together, you really have to be prepared for this one. This one's brutal. The temperatures are coming well on. They really have nothing to stop them. They're just, the door is open and this air is moving down.
Yeah, that's right. It's just moving all the way from Siberia through Canada. And look at that, Regina, 18 degrees, -18. It's
Grand Forks, 16 below.
And, you know, it's just so disturbing when you see it just so close to us with those temperatures well below the minus mark there.
Yeah, it does get a little bit milder as it shoots on down, but not by much. And these are the coldest numbers you've seen so far this year. I know you've heard it before, but it's true again.
And, you know, and we keep saying it every week. It's the coldest air of the sea because the air just keeps overtopping itself.
And these wind chills are below 0. Now, St. Louis, you're at 3 below. Louisville, you're right at 2 degrees is the way it's going to feel. Indianapolis, about 4 below. Let's run this through, and we'll kind of take you through the afternoon and evening hours. If you're going to get an edge on temperatures today, it's really not going to be much. Where you are right now in the south was about as warm as you're going to get. You're really not going to see these numbers come up very much in places like St. Louis, and Louisville's involved in that as well.
Yeah, and these are the areas that, you know, you go outside in the morning, you got to try to warm the car up, and, you know, we want people just to really be safe out there.
Tom Nizzle, nothing wants to.
It was like the thunder snow was following him.
Yeah, it's like a lot of folks couldn't understand why he would, but let me tell you, it's so rare and so exquisite to be under the power of a storm as it develops like that.
Yeah, and, you know, and when so many people hear about snow, you just don't think of hearing thunder with it, and it was so incredible out there. We have some other incredible news to talk about. We're talking about the difference in the big setup across parts of the middle part of the country. For today, we know where all the cold air is going to be. Arctic cold invasion to the south as well as to the east. And then we look over to the west. It's spring-like. Big case of jealousy for people out in the west. That's how we feel. We want to feel this. Temperatures running 10 to 20 degrees above average. And then we look across the east. You're going to be running 40 degrees below average for this time of the year, and that includes areas like Florida. Now, if you want to know the most normal part of the country, well, hello to you, Oklahoma City. Tomorrow, you're going to be looking at a high of 56 degrees. That's only 1 degree off average, so you are keeping it neutral in this big map of weather extremes out there. For Denver, your high should be 47 degrees. We'll see that for today. Tomorrow, you're going to see warmer numbers, and then for St. Louis, you're on the other side of that weather whiplash. Today, high of 17 degrees. Tomorrow, 17 degrees. You're also running almost 20 degrees below.